Okay, so this is just another video for my GCSE foundation, guys. Though that being said, some of the hilarious things I've seen with A-level students over the years, it's probably not the worst thing in the world if you actually just watch this for a recap. So, what are we talking about today? All about fractions. Multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting. I'll probably do in a future video things like turning from top-heavy to mixed, etc. But right now it's just the basics. And you can't get any more basic than multiplying fractions, because all you need to do is times the top numbers together and the bottom numbers together, and Bob's your uncle, you've achieved multiplying of a fraction. Okay, there's a bit of nuance to it. If you're multiplying a whole number by a fraction, you times the numerator, which is the top number, by that whole number. So you can see the second example, 4 times 2/3 is 4 times 2 over 3. Now, it's also probably a good time to talk about of. So whenever we talk about a fraction of a thing, we're asking you to multiply that thing by that fraction. So that's multiplying fractions. I'm sure you'll agree that's pretty easy. Top times top, bottom times bottom, and you've seen the various other things that can go with it. Let's have a look at dividing, which is closely related. Alright then, so here's dividing. And dividing is very, very famous because it's literally, everyone remembers how to do it, but they often slip up in the actual kind of process of doing it. What is this process? You need to turn the second fraction upside down and then multiply. So here, let's take example 3/5 divided by a half. We're going to turn the half upside down, make it 2 over 1, and multiply. Now, where do people go wrong with this? Sometimes they turn the wrong fraction upside down. The question is always asked, which fraction do I turn upside down? The one you're dividing by, so the second one. Don't flip them both. When you've flipped over, you multiply, not divide, okay? That's the whole point of it. It makes it very, very easy. You flip the fraction over and you multiply, which is something you already know how to do. Look at the second example there. It's not much more complicated. The 4 over 9 becomes 9 over 4. Multiply, but just wanted to show a quick example of simplification. If you can simplify, you should simplify, and you should always have an eye out to see whether you can or not, okay? Almost certainly you'll drop a mark if you don't. Alright? Let's have a look at adding and subtracting now. That's all we've got left. Okay, so that's the last of the lot. We're looking at adding and subtracting fractions. What's different here? Well, if it's the same denominator, it's incredibly easy. You just add up the top numbers. Remember, they're called numerators. And that's that. Keep the denominator the same. So 3/5 plus 1/5 is 4/5. Wow. Similarly here, 2/7 minus 1/7 is 1/7. That's incredibly easy. Unfortunately, they might ask you to have ones with different denominators. So let's have a look at the one on this side. And I always use this kind of dead eye smiley face emoji thing to help me remember. The dead eye is representing what you need to do for the top number, the numerator, and the smiley bit to represent what's happening in the denominator. So what actually is happening? What you're doing is you're multiplying diagonals. So I'm doing 3 times 9 and 5 times 2 or 2 times 5, however you want to think of that. That's what your numerator is. And you've got a plus sign in the middle of those because you've got a plus sign in the middle there. That's pretty simple, I hope. Now the bottom part is literally the two denominators get multiplied together. So that gives you the smiley face. If you look at the dotted lines, I don't know how well that's going to come out on YouTube. If you look at where the dotted lines that are connecting it, you see the emoji as it's drawn up over there. Once you've done that, you do the calculation, see if it simplifies. 37 and 45 are co-prime, so no, they won't. And that's your lot. Okay? So that's how you multiply, divide, add, and subtract fractions. Hope that makes sense. And best of luck with your upcoming non-calc paper.